Well, good afternoon. I'm really excited to sort through the cattle show. It's a fun Brown County fair, but I think the cattle show really gets me excited because high-quality exhibitors and high-quality livestock. Young man has a single-entry Angus heifer out here that'll consequently be our champion Angus as well. She's ultra big-bodied, she's functional, she's sound on her feet and legs. I'd like to make her more genuinely stout. She gets a little narrow-chested, a little narrow pin from behind. I'd like to maybe just infuse more genuine muscularity in this female, but in terms of cow power, she's big-bodied and great on her feet and legs. Going to be an awesome cow in the future. Let's give this young man a nice round of applause on a great single entry.
Champion Angus goes to Elijah B. Entering the ring is Charlotte Spring Calf Class, Ellie Henson, and Tavon Taylor.
So we actually have two single entries out here. Young man has a March-born heifer and young lady has a May-born. So I'll talk them as individuals instead of comparing them together. And the young man's heifer of our March-born division is one that I like for a lot of reasons. That's a Charlotte heifer that has the breed characteristics of genuine power and dimension. I think she's one that has a lot of stoutness. She's stout in her foot and bone size, yet still reads with a lot of extension up front. She maybe gets just a nickel cresty at the top side of her neck. I'd like to relax it in her ankle from time to time when we get her out on the go, but one that has enough body, still cool looking up front. I think she's one that's just a really good heifer in her own right. This March-born, I think, is one that just needs more time on feed, but I think she's got an extremely bright future. Here's one that I think is probably a little bit more dialed back in the angle to her shoulder. I think her hind leg is built with a lot of angularity to her and still has one that I think is going to feed into being pretty big body, but a heifer today that's awfully green. She probably needs a little bit more middle, probably needs a little bit more time on feed to stouten up just a scotch more. But these are two nice Charlotte heifers out here. Let's pay them off with a nice round of applause.
Entering the ring for Charlotte Junior Calf, Ellie Henson.
Young Lady brings us another single entry of February born division. Here's a heifer that I think has just maybe a nickel more body than those other two. She's a really functional female in that regards, and just still built fairly good in regards to her feet and legs. She gets a little narrow tracking from behind, a nickel planer fronted, a little more circumference there to the base of her neck. We'd like to change her there just ever so slightly. Just in regards to being a good functional brood cow, she has the basics in regards to being sound enough and having some rib and center body dimension. I like that about her. Young Lady brought us another nice heifer. Let's pay her off with a nice round of applause as well.
Tadlock Trailer Sales has been selling and servicing trailers for over 35 years. They offer a variety of new and used trailers, plus Dixie Chopper, Simplicity, and Bad Boy lawnmowers. They also sell trailer and mower parts and accessories. Check out their large selection of trailers and mowers on display at 5645 Sterile 125 in West Union. They'll gladly answer all your questions. Looking to rent a trailer? Call and see what's available at 937-544-2851. Tadlock Trailer Sales, family owned and operated.
Well, okay, so I was talking to Matt. I did find out that it's not, you guys will not be here. It's going to be in another part. But what I will do though is, I just realized that mic is live. Well, good thing we're not saying anything bad. But what I will do though is, I'm going to set everything up as much as I can, but I'm going to leave the most expensive parts in the bag with you guys. So the camera, and shooter.
Another single entry out here that can take a lot more competition. This heifer is stout. She's big-legged. She's really muscular up high and stout from behind. And I still think she proportions well from the side for being the most mature heifer we've seen so far. I wish she maybe had a more maternal sweep there to her belly. When we get her out to go, she comes close to filling her track, but maybe gets a little rigid on that rear ankle. I'd like to see her plant it just a little bit softer and smoother when we ask her to go in motion. She's a little bit longer polled heifer and maybe can read just a little bit more refined about her skull and her head shape, but one that still has plenty of stoutness and going to infuse that into her offspring in the coming generations. Good single entry out here, young man brings me again. Let's pay him off again with a nice round of applause.
Entering the ring for champion Charlotte heifer, Ellie Henson, Tavon Taylor, Ellie Henson, and Tavon Taylor. This is the second call for all keys to be making their way to the makeup area. Lacey Hauser, Cameron Hardy, Maya Daniels, Peyton McAllister, and Tayton Rhodes. And Presley McQueen, sorry.
Actually, what you guys will be doing is you guys will be doing sales. So it's, if anything, it's actually a little bit more exciting than this. I know that it doesn't say it much.
Is there a Roy Gabber?
Roy Gabber?
Like, is there a Roy Gabber?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so. What? One more time? I don't think so, but I mean they're still, I don't know. It's gonna be more exciting than this, but like I said, I know that's not saying much. But yeah, that's good. That's gonna be happening Saturday. So your guys
We'll have to run Mike.
Well, yes, and that might be where 10 will become more valuable because he does have like knowledge of where the XLR comes out of and all that. I mean, it's not the end of the world if we do end up having to use the ambient mics. When I say ambient mics, it's the mics that are built in.
Awfully nice Charlet show we have out here with our respective single entries, and we bring them out here, and I think it gets close for a couple of the places. Out of our more juvenile division out here, that's a heifer that I think has a bright future. I think she's one that reads relatively sound when we ask her to go. I like the slope and angle there to her shoulder. She's one that needs more time on feed to truly body down and get some extra curvature there to her rib cage. She reads the greenest in her rib, and I'm not afraid of using a small one by any means, but today I think she just gives up just a little bit too much in terms of performance and rib shape. I'd like to change her there, but one that I think down on the road is going to turn into a really nice cow. The one out of our second division is one that I think paints a really attractive silhouette from the side. Like we talked in class, she has just a nickel crest there to her neck, but she's ultra long fronted. I think when she gets her parked and stuck, that heifer just paints a really attractive silhouette from the side. One that we can maybe drop her belly in the center part back to her rear rib and flank, just a nickel more, but one that I think has enough body. She's sound structured, and she's the best looking one out here. Out of our third division, we have a heifer that strikes you at first glance as being extremely practical. She's big ribbed and has some softness there to her center belly. She's one that has some slope there to her shoulder. I want her collar pretty sound, but when we ask her to go, she gets a nickel rigid on those rear two and the rear ankle. When you step in behind her, she's the narrowest tracking heifer and gets a little bit of swelling back to her hock and maybe a little bit of coarseness there to her joints. I like to change her ever so slightly there, but I like her depth of rib, I like her body. And then out of our final division, that's a heifer that packs a big punch when you step in behind her. She's really stout, she's really powerful, she's big boned. It comes at a cost. She's maybe not quite as attractive through her front third. For being the most mature heifer out here, I wish she was deeper bodied, maybe a little bit further along with calf, but one that I do think still has some really cool pieces for being that stout heifer that still blends it in an attractive package. For me, there's an obvious winner. I think it gets rather close for reserve. It could go a few different ways. For me, I'd like the young ladies heifer out of our second division to be champion. It's very close for reserve, but I'm going to follow up with the young man's heifer again out of our late division for reserve champion Charlene. Congratulations.
Champion Charlet goes to Tavon Taylor. And reserve champion goes to Tavon Taylor. And third overall goes to Ellie Henson. Entering the ring is high percent key, Lacey Hauser.
Papers don't even have, we don't have paper.
What? It's a damn door. Right now the door. Locked. I know you got that.
Only one entry here in the High Percent Key show, but one that could take a lot more competition. What an attractive female from the side. She looks like a lady up front, but built like a steer maker from their back. She's bold ribbed and has some muscle to her. My biggest thing, I'd like to drop her in her belly and just give her more rear rib and flank. When we ask her to go, she comes close to filling her track, but wants to catch and knuckle up on that rear ankle from time to time. I'd like to relax her there just ever so slightly, but big picture, I'd just like to open her up in her center cavity and just make her a nickel more maternal through her center body, but a good heifer nonetheless that has power and still really good looking up front. Let's congratulate that young lady on bringing us a nice female.
Champion High Percent Key goes to Lacey Hauser. Now entering the ring is Low Percent Key Spring Calf Class, Cameron Hardy, Maya Daniels, and Tanner Rhodes.
This is the camera that moves right here. This one just stays static. So for example, like if you're zooming in, this is how you zoom. Like say you're zooming in, you're grabbing whatever that cow is right there, yeah. So you can like zoom in so that you can like go out like that. And then you can move this camera wherever you want without it affecting the outcome there. And you can zoom it, kind of do that, show him, whatever, and then go back to that. Kind of keep it creative if you want to. And then while you're at it, just go ahead and click Start Ads.
I wanted to prove to myself that I could go to college and get my degree.
What if I went to Southern State? What if I'm able to go and become that nurse or that lawyer or that teacher? Southern State Community College allows students to rise above the circumstances that they're surrounded by and become something more than they ever dreamed possible.
Just like that. And it's basically what you just did there for about 5 to 6 hours. I love that.
very tough, very competitive class, and you can get a few different judges out here and line these up a little way. Young lady with the baldy heifers are first place and can line up out there. I think these trio is awfully good, but for me, at least in my opinion, you can't get around this black and white heifer. In terms of functionality, she's the big-bodied one that's still square and sound on the go. She maybe wants to get a nickel outside of herself or throw her hind leg a little bit uncoordinated when we ask her to move, but she's built the most angular through her shoulder. She's more relaxed in her spine when we ask her to go, and she's still an ultra-feminine heifer that's flat and smooth at the base of her shoulder. She wants to round a nickel from hooks to pins just ever so slightly, but a heifer that I can look past that because she's the cow of the group that's big body, the best on her feet and legs, still looks like a lady up front. 2 and 3 is where I have the more difficulty sorting. This heifer here in second is just a beast in regards to center rib and dimension. That's a stout heifer that's got a lot of power when you step in behind her. She's really big ribbed, she's really big body. I'd like to push her shoulder back into her body just a little bit more. From behind, I need to square her hock up just a little bit more. She's not necessarily bow-legged, but I'd like to see her a little more square there. It doesn't hinder her ability to get out and take a comfortable step, and right here, she looks like $1,000,000, but when you step off to a 3/4 shot, she's a little bit too big in her shoulder. She needs to relax in her spine when we ask her to move. I question her ability to actually kind of grow. She looks just nickel quick to me, but a heifer that I do think has tons of quality in terms of just center body dimension, really cool fronted as well. I like this heifer in third too, and I'd be happy with a third place young lady because you brought a really high quality female to the Brown County Fair. She's stout, she's dimensional, she's fit the best out here. I think she looks the part. For me, when we ask her to go, she struggles the most out of her feet and legs. She wants to kind of run downhill and kind of paddle out of her front skeleton. She pinches up in her spine when we ask her to go. Of those 3, she's the highest in her flank and the shallowest body. That's where I'd like to relax her. But a heifer that's proportional, one that has a good look and a lot of stoutness when you step in behind her, I just like to redesign her in the way we get her out on the move. Good class of heifers, 3 nice females. Let's give those kiddos a good round of applause.
Results from the low percent key spring calf class. First, Maya Daniels. Second, Tayton Rhodes. And third, Cameron Hardy. Entering the ring is low percent key junior calf, Peyton McAllister.
Young man brings us a nice single entry out here. Man, she's got a lot of body and a lot of center rib about her. I like that. Stepping behind her, she's got a ton of pin set and still some stoutness there, but you remain square in her hind leg and still can get out and take a big, comfortable step. She's a little off behind her shoulder, and I'd like to strengthen her there in her spine. She's got a little bit more shoulder about her as well, which maybe I don't necessarily think she's flat-ribbed by any means, but I do think it kind of makes her look just a little bit maybe not as robust right there in the center of her forearm, but a heifer that's still really big-bodied. I love the maternal sweep to her rib, one that takes a big, comfortable step. Just got to redesign her top line and maybe flatten and smooth the base of her shoulder just ever so slightly. Good single entry out here, nice heifer. Let's give this young man a nice round of applause.
Low percent Kenya junior calf goes to Peyton McAllister. Entering the ring is low percent key spring yearling Tanner Rhodes.
Another good single entry with tons and tons of body. She looks like a brood cow, which are the ones that I like to sort up to the top of the class. One that's just really capacious through her middle. Still doesn't give up a ton in terms of power. That's still a female that has genuine stoutness and dimension when you step in behind her. Maybe we'd like to match that power with a little bit more foot size. She's one that I read as feminine up front, but maybe gets just a little bit, maybe not quite as stout in the base of her jaw. I love them to be feminine up front, but I don't like to sacrifice any sort of dimension or stoutness to their skull. I think maybe she gets just a little bit weaker jawed up there, and that's kind of a very nitpicky thing to find, but one that I do think would make her just a better female. A good cow out here that's big ribbed and sound enough. Maybe we could redesign her hind leg, although she's functional and angular. She gets a little bit sharp hocked and maybe just not quite as attractive in the set to her hind leg, but one that's certainly going to be a super functional brood cow that's going to be good in the pasture. Nice job to this young man. Let's put our hands together for him.
Low percent Key Spring Yearling goes to Tanner Rhodes. Entering the ring is low percent Key Junior Yearling Presley McQueen. We need all first and second place low percent keys to be in the makeup area.
Another really nice single entry out here, and this heifer is jam-packed full of power and stoutness. She's wide, she's thick, she's burly, and has some good foot size underneath her. Still really proportional from the side. That extra power maybe hinders the ability to get out and take a flawless step. She's a little bit more rigid on that hock in her ankle. I'd like to see her get out and just flex and hit the surface with a little more comfort. To be honest, I think she's maybe just a little bit over-conditioned. I'd like to lean her up just ever so slightly to make her more fancy up front. I think it also helps her ability to get out and go just a little bit better. But a female that's powerful and still good looking, maybe for her age we could have her just a nickel further along the calf, but one that I'm not going to get too critical on that by any means. That's a powerful heifer that's going to get a second look in her low percent key drive. Let's put our hands together for that young lady bringing us a nice female.
At Security Bank and Trust, we bring you the best of both worlds. Personalized service with reliability that you can trust. Since 1928, we've been helping our community thrive by offering exceptional financial solutions, tailored just for you. Whether you're saving for the future or need a loan to grow your business, our friendly team is here to guide you through every step of the way. Visit us today at our Maysville branch, located at 1426 US 68, or give us a call at 606-564-3304.
From the junior calf class, Peyton McAllister. From the spring yearling class, Tanner Rhodes. From the junior yearling class, Preston McQueen. And second place from the spring calf class, Tayton Rhodes.
quality show out here. 5 females out here in front of me, and there are 5 high quality pieces of livestock. Starting out of our first division, young lady won a very competitive trio of calves out here. I like that baldy heifer a good deal. She's really swoopy bellied, and I think although from time to time she wants to hit the chips and knuckle up on that rear ankle from time to time, I still think she comes close to filling her track. I think she's laid back in her shoulder. She's one that I think just reads the most maternal, the most right in terms of her center body, and still looks like a lady up front. I like her a good deal. The young man's red heifer, I think, is another one that just reads me as being an awfully good cow. She probably has the most depth to her center rib. She's really capacious and deep down there back to her rear rib and flank, and the one that takes the big comfortable step. Like we said in class, I'd like to redesign her spine and make her stronger out of the back of her shoulder. We could probably lay her shoulder flatter and smoother into her body wall just to make her front end blend just a little bit nicer. But a heifer out here that I think's capaciousness and just having some good rear legs is definitely going to get her a second look. No man's motley faced heifer is big body, can still sound. One that maybe planes up just a little more from the side. We can make her a little bit more attractive in parts and pieces. But when you truly start breaking her down, one that doesn't have any major holes, but maybe doesn't have that wow factor at the same time. The lady that won our final single entry class brings us a heifer that's stout and burly and dimensional, one that we could tone back in regards to condition, and I think that would also help her ability to get out and go, because I do think she gets just a nickel tight on that rear leg. She does come close to filling that track, but I'd like to see her get out and flex that rear leg with just more comfort and ease. For me, I still think she's won just regards to her pattern from the profile and just her center body and dimension. She certainly gets another look as well. And the young man's second place heifer behind that baldy is one that won a very close pair between 2 and 3. That one has tons of body. She's probably pound for pound the stoutest heifer we have out here. She's maybe assembled a little bit too wide in her shoulders. I like to lay her shoulder into her body wall just a little bit smoother. I like to square her hind leg up just a nickel more when I step in behind her. For me, there's one that I like for champion. I think it gets rather close for reserve. I'm going to put the mic down and go select those 2, and then our top 3. If you guys will, let's congratulate these kiddos on a job well done.
Champion low percent key goes to Maya Daniels. Reserve champion goes to Presley McLean, and 3rd overall goes to Peyton McAllister.
Disaster can strike without warning, and when it does, your choice of an insurance agent really matters. At Paul Hall & Associates, we understand the importance of being there when it counts, and our dedicated team will be by your side. You can rest easy knowing that we are your trusted insurance partner for when the unpredictable happens. Learn more about how we can protect you and your family at paulhallinsurance.com. We are Paul Hall & Associates, our family insuring yours.
To get to know people as people, not just customers. That's very important to Mosier Furniture. Today we were lucky enough to have 2 customers call us and brag about the fact that they loved their furniture and they're still loving it after a great number of years. We like to hear that. There's no doubt Mosier Furniture and Appliance has a lot of great customers, but we're always looking for more. Mosier Furniture and Appliance in West Union, Ohio. We're here whenever you need us.
We only have 1 heifer. We're going to have to get more more next year, but a young lady brings you one that can take a lot of competition. This heifer is just really attractive from the profile. We ask her to go and you study her hind leg. She has angularity to her hock. She's soft and laid back in her rear pastern. That's the staple of good cattle and good brood cows as well. Really big belly. She's maybe just a little bit too briskety for me. I'd like to clean her up there and maybe tone her back in her condition. Step in behind her. I wish there was more genuine power there. But a good heifer, I don't know if you guys watched Showmanship yesterday. This young lady beat all the older kids. She was my supreme showman overall. Let's give her a nice round of applause for being a good heifer.
Champion purebred Hereford goes to Presley McQueen. Entering the ring with her mini Hereford senior calf is Katie Brossel. We need all maintainers to be making their way to the makeup area. Gwyneth Souter, Lacey Kilgore, Tanner Rhodes, Ashley Rogers, Lainey Spiller, Presley McQueen, Cody Sawyers, Kinley Klein, and Maya Daniels.
Only one entry here in the mini Hereford show, but I think she wins grand champion in the cuteness contest. That's a cute little heifer that's got some genuine stoutness to her. We'd like to stout her up in her foot size though, maybe make her just a little bit deeper belly back to her rear rib and flank and make her more attractive about her skull. But young lady has an awesome project out here. I think it's going to be an awesome brood cow in the future. Let's give this young lady a good round of applause.
Champion mini Hereford goes to Katie Brossel. Tanner Rhodes. Entering the ring is maintainer spring calf class, Gwyneth Souter, Lacey Kilgore, and Tanner Rhodes. This is the second call for all maintainers to make their way to the makeup area. Ashley Rogers, Lainey Spiller, Presley McQueen, Cody Sawyers, Kinley Klein, and Maya Daniels. With us in the ring today, we have our fair photographer, Haley Ann Photography, and all of the photos taken this week will be available for a free digital download on her website at haleyannphotography.shootproof.com. This is all thanks to the First State Bank, Hauser's One Stop Shop, and John Wood Insurance Agency. Let's give them a round of applause and thank them.
How's it going? You see why I think you get a couple bucks.
Insurance protection for you and your family. John Wood Insurance has helped thousands of families with their insurance needs since 1891. For service you can trust, contact John Wood Insurance in Georgetown at 937-378-4124, in Owensville at 513-732-2600, in West Union at 937-544-5505, or in Peebles at 937-587-2246. That's John Wood Insurance.
You seem like you feel confident at least about just pointing the camera and existing. Another thing to note too.
Awesome way to start off the maintainer show with three good females out here. Young lady's heifer up front is, if she isn't my favorite, she's one of the ones we've seen so far. Man, she is deadly looking from the side. She's just looks absolutely elegant through her front third, but looks like a steer maker from her forerib back. She's bold ribbed, swoopy bellied, and still can get out and go. She's one that maybe wants to catch that angle from time to time. I question her just grow pattern. I don't think she's going to be just a little bitty one by any means, but she's certainly not going to be just a great big one by any means at the same time. But I have no problem with that. Good cattle come as small, large, medium size. She's a good one nonetheless. Great job with that young lady. And nothing to take away from the second, because man, she paints a awfully pretty silhouette from the side. That's maybe the most feminine heifer we've seen in the show ring this afternoon. Her head is just absolutely elegant. I love how flat and smooth she is there through her shoulder, dead level down her top line, and just really attractive about her hip and her hind leg. You step about a 3/4 shot, that's where she gets the red ribbon today. She's a flatter bodied female that just doesn't quite have the dimension we find in that first place heifer. To me, she reads just a nickel too frail underneath. I think you stouten her up a little bit more, and Lydia, you're going to have a good run with her. She's awfully nice to go out here and be second. But man, you got a good, powerful female here in third. She's really bold ribbed. She's really burly and thick down her top line. I like to redesign the way she gets out and moves. She has too much set to her hind leg, and she plants on the outside of her hoof wall. It causes her hock to roll just ever so slightly. I'd like to redesign her shoulder as well and make it flatter and smoother and just more elegant about her front third. Good job to those three exhibitors. Let's give them a good round of applause on a job well done.
For the maintainer spring calf class, first goes to Gwyneth Souter, second Lacey Kilgore, and third Tanner Rhodes. Entering the ring is maintainer junior calf Ashley Rogers.
This is my favorite part. Is moving the camera. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Definitely my favorite part to know.
What a nice single entry heifer we have out here that I think could take more competition. She's one that blends smooth from the side and paints an attractive profile picture. I love her front third, and I think she's really feminine and refined up there. She needs more belly for me. I think she's one that's definitely not shallow by any means, but I think maybe the last class winner just has that swoopiness and that maternal figure that really draws my eyes to them. I'd like to change her there ever so slightly. Maybe although she's not a heifer that's not stout by any means, she gets a little narrow chested for me, and I'd like to change her there ever so slightly. That's a good heifer nonetheless. Her fit job is really nice as well. Congratulations to that young lady.
Maintainer junior calf goes to Ashley Rogers. Entering the ring with her maintainer senior calf is Lainey Spiller.
Another single entry that could take a lot more competition. I sound like a broken record out here, but one that's very proportional from the side, strong in her top line, got a great start to her rudder, very square teeth placement, very refined about her teeth structure as well, and a heifer that just has some rib shape and dimension to her as well. She planes up a little bit more to her front third for me. I'd like to see her bigger in her foot size, maybe to match her power up high. We could maybe make her just a nickel more swoopy belly, but that's being critical of a very nice potential brood cow that I think has a lot of qualities that are going to make her a good cow in the future. Let's give this young lady a nice round of applause.
Maintainer senior calf goes to Lainey Spiller. Entering the ring is our maintainer spring yearlings, Presley McQueen, Cody Sawyers, and Kenley Klein.
I always think it's interesting that the cows that the little kids are operating 4 times harder than the kids. It's like the most definition of a cow. You not see that at all?
No, I don't see.
Check these out. Free something maintained.
That's where they were.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I don't know which one.
Okay.
I don't know which page goes after that, so it's like.
Yeah. I think you're gonna start seeing it.
Okay, so.
So you got this
oh,
guy.
I'm sorry, but I think no.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that. I think that side, all that, that side they're at now. Only they might have.
These breed shows are always so freaking hard to follow. And then my son's like, what class are they on? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, you
One
can
of
take a
them.
picture of that.
What this one?
Yeah, whatever that is.
He's one to their winter winter.
Well, now you also know that. Well, not only that, but also some of these are fine. I noticed that at the beginning of it looked like they had a semi
Really high quality trio of cattle out here. With that being said, I love this heifer that's going to go ahead and win this particular class. I think she's one that's super attractive from the profile and draws your attention from the side. But I think just in regards to functionality, she's the one that's got the most center rib and just the most depth back to her flank. Yet when we pull her into motion, she's the most comfortable in her spine. She takes the longest step, and she's the most flexible on her hock and her ankle. Maybe she gets a little bit sharp hocked, and that's being extra critical, but that's a stout, functional hind leg, and that's hard to do, and still attractive enough for me. Great way to start this particular class. The one here in second, that heifer probably has the edge in power. That female out of the back of her shoulder is just so powerful and dense. She's stepping behind her. She's out of a meat wagon, and I still think she's very proportional from the side. Right when we set her into motion, I think that's where you get the red ribbon. She wants to elevate her spine just ever so slightly. I think part of that is caused due that she reads a nickel too straight and more forward than the angle to her shoulder. I'd like to reevaluate her or realign her there and draw her back in the angle to her shoulder, but that's a powerful female that's still very proportional from the side. Good brood cow coming out here in third. She's ultra big rib. She maybe is a little bit softer flanked than the one that got second. I like that about her. For me, she planes up the most from the side. She's the thickest necked and the roundest out of her hip. Although she's powerful up high, she maybe narrows a little bit more from hooks to pins for me, and I'd like to change her there ever so slightly. Good class, very nice class winner. Let's give those kiddos a good round of applause.
Maintainer Spring Yearly goes to Presley McQueen, second Kinley Klein, and third Cody Sawyers.
Oh, really? So you know it then. You know the system.
Entering the ring is Maintainer Junior Yearling Maya Daniels. We need all first and second place Maintainer class winners to be in the makeup area.
I've got 2 classes so far, and that's great. Did you used to win? Did you ever win? Did you have like the tightest from his house? I did. Yeah. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. But I did good in like skill level and stuff like that. I did judging for smart stuff. Are you impressed with these cows?
Another high-quality single entry out here. When she gets parked and stuck, she really does have an attractive look from the side. I like her head shape. She's very dense and stout. That heifer's got a lot of power laid into her, and I think one that could potentially make a nice show steer. I'd like to see her just a little bit softer middle. She's one that could, she gets a little short stepping when we ask her to go. It just doesn't quite fill her track. I'm kind of a tailhead freak, and I'd like to push that tailhead a little bit more inside herself, just a little bit more to make her hip and hind leg just a scotch more attractive. But I don't want to be too critical of her. That's a powerful heifer that's still smooth in her shoulder and proportional from the side. Young lady brought us a nice single entry. Let's pay her off with a good round of applause.
Maintainer Junior Yearling goes to Maya Daniels.
We all have individual needs when it comes to our prescriptions. Why not choose a pharmacy that offers personalized, friendly service that's also convenient? Health Source of Ohio pharmacies offer free prescription delivery within their service area, free shipping on your mail order prescriptions, auto refill, and more. Call 513-707-9900 or visit healthsourceofohio.org for more information. Stop by any of the pharmacy locations in Seaman, Mount Orb, or Batavia to meet the staff. Health Source of Ohio is proud to be the source for pharmacy in your community.
In the makeup area.
Generically, I would
This is the first call for all shorthorn heifers to be making their way to the makeup area. Tanner Rhodes, Madeline Jodry, and Etta Moore.
get you a pair of headsets and prejudge, make your own judgment.
This was a fun maintainer show to evaluate. We started off with a high-quality trio of one and still a class winner that I thought won that class very, very easily. I said that she was one of, if not my favorite, favorite that came through the ring thus far, and she still is. I mean, that one is just so big-bodied and still can get out and go. I love just how refined she is about her front end, but just draws back with some dimension and some stoutness. She's the most juvenile one out here, so obviously she's going to give up a little bit in regards to performance and just extra stoutness that some of these more mature heifers have. But that's high-quality livestock, and I don't think just because she's little, you got to count her out. I think she's one that's really hard to make, and I keep that in the back of my mind. The heifer that's coming out of our second class is really smooth and just paints an attractive picture from the side. I think she's flat and smooth at the base of her shoulder, has some stretch there to her neck, and I like her length, and I like where her tail head sits in her. I like her length of hip and where her tail head sits in her. She's one that I'd like to see maybe a nickel deeper hearted and softer back to her flank. Maybe we could stout her up just ever so slightly and bust her open in her skeletal width, but a female that I think's functional in her own right and still attractive from the profile. Blaze face heifer is just broody. She's big bodied and still sound enough. She needs more foot size to match her power up high. She planes up just a nickel more from the profile for me, but just good type of cattle that are going to be awesome in the pasture. I like this baldy heifer that's coming out next. She probably has the best hind leg that we've seen so far. It's stout, it's functional, it's attractive. That's what I like about it. She's one that's still ultra cool up front. When I compare her to the other one that I have in mind to win this thing, I think that's a big bodied heifer, but the one up front maybe is just a little bit more maternal in her sweep. Like I said, I don't want to get too critical, but maybe she gets a little bit sharp on the backside of her hock there. That's kind of a nitpicky criticism, but I think it makes a difference between those two. Those are very, very high quality livestock. I think it comes down to those two for Grand Reserve. And out of our final division, young lady brought us a single entry that I think is very proportional from the side. She's very stout skulled, and I think she has some genuine dimension and power to her. She needs to be bigger bodied. She gets a nickel shorter stepping for me. I'm a little blunt, and there's two of them out here that I think are competing for it. We'll bring some seconds out here to fight for third overall, but for me, I like to pick the highest quality. I like to pick the ones that are my absolute favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very close, but I like that class winner out of class 1 to be champion. I like that baldy heifer to go ahead and be reserved.
Champion maintainer goes to Gwyneth Souter, and reserve champion goes to Presley McQueen.
Yeah, there's one in there. Yep. Told me a little bit more about it. About the basketball area. Sounds like a thing. What? So? Standard, your numbers have proven to be a pretty good statistic. Oh, dude, basketball. Have you had a basketball season yet? Just come in at the end. Oh, man. You're going to be my biggest month. Yeah, you're going to be freaking you're going to pay off the house. Being facetious, but you are gonna, you'll do good. That's when like the whole county just opens up. Go basketball. Yeah, you're they're big fans of basketball in our area. So, you'll do just fine. With your charisma, nothing will stop. It's almost time to get into
That was a close decision there for Grand Reserve, very high quality females, and then when you pull those out, you're still left with 5 high quality females out here. So whether you're Grand Reserve or not, I think you should be proud to bring good cattle to the Brown County Fair. Again, I don't have much of a poker face. Those 2 seconds that came in are fighting for 3rd overall, and they're very, very different in their type and kind. And when it was second behind our champion, brings me one that's just absolutely classy from the profile. Her head, neck, and shoulder are probably the most feminine or fine we've seen in the show ring so far. Just really good looking from the profile and still sound on the go. I question if she just has enough density to her. She reads the frailest out here in this lineup and probably needs to be more opened up. But again, she's also the most juvenile calf, and she still has some chest width. Although she's not maybe as big pinned as the other one we have a consideration, she's still not a narrow pinned heifer by any means. She just needs more, and I'd like to see her change there just ever so slightly. But one that's hard to make that kind of tight throat and long neck yet still have some belly to her. I like that one a good deal. And the young lady that was second behind that blaze-faced heifer, one that's just stout and dense and powerful, big hind leg and just really burly in her forerib and stout from behind. She kind of gets a little bit too straight in that shoulder. When we ask her to go, that's where I question her. She wants to elevate her spine. She knuckles up on that rear ankle from time to time. That's where I'd like to change her. When she's parked, she just paints just a really attractive silhouette, has the extra dimension to boot, but I just like to see her get out and go with more flex and comfort. And with that in consideration, I like to pick sound-made, good moving cattle. I like that more juvenile calf out of class number 1 to go ahead and be 3rd overall. Congratulations.
3rd overall maintainer goes to Lacey Kilgore.
More than a century of service. Let that sink in for a moment. For more than 100 years, since 1908 and through 4 generations of family-owned business, Georgetown Marble and Granite has stood firm in our community. They've helped thousands of families pay their respects and have memorialized so many lives gone, but not forgotten. When that difficult time comes, Georgetown Marble and Granite will be there to assist you too. Visit their location on East North Street in Georgetown or call 937-378-6314.
This is the first call for all Shorthorn Plus heifers: Addison Moran, Brandy Huber, and Etta Moore.
Which way should you go? Oh, well, here's what I'll do. Is I will move that blue case and I'll get it right here. Unless you do want to go that way. If you go that way, I'll just put it over here. You tell me what you do.
For her breed, I like that this shorthorn heifer is actually genuinely powerful and stout. Out of the back of her shoulder, she's really wide and dense, and from behind, that's a powerful female as well. It kind of comes at a consequence, though, because when we ask her to move, she's a little more rigid the way she gets out and goes. She's assembled a little straighter in her knee, a little bit more rigid in that rear ankle. I like to see her get out and go with more flex and comfort, but in terms of body, dimension, and stoutness, she's got that going on. Young man, congratulations to you. Let's put our hands together for him.
Shorthorn Purebred Junior Calf goes to Tanner Rhodes. Entering the ring is Shorthorn Purebred Senior Calf, Madeline Jodry.
This single entry heifer out here is definitely enjoying the rainy weather and feeling her Wheaties this morning. Young lady does a great job handling her, and that's a really long-necked one that's feminine up front. She has some depth there to her rib. Stepping behind her, I wish she maybe was just a little bit more busted open in her pin set, maybe a little bit larger in her foot size as well. When we ask her to go, I think maybe she's a little bit more comfortable on her rear leg than our last class winner, but still one I'd like to see take a longer, more comfortable step relative to maybe one that I consider perfect. But a good heifer nonetheless. Young lady does a good job handling her. Let's give her a nice round of applause.
Purebred Shorthorn Senior Calf goes to Madeline Jodry. Entering the ring is Shorthorn Purebred Junior Yearling Etta Moore. This is the second call for our Shorthorn Plus to make their way to the makeup area.
Another good single entry out here. Here's a heifer that I think kind of blends the other two. She's big bodied, yet still she's the best on her feet and legs of the Shorthorn show we've seen so far. Still really attractive about her front third. We'd like to clean her up in her navel. Here's a heifer that I think has some stoutness, but relative to maybe the best Shorthorn heifer in the world, we can make her square from hooks to pins and maybe a little bit more robust in her rib cage. She's good in her udder structure, but maybe gets a nickel longer teated. I'd like to adjust her there ever so slightly, but a good heifer nonetheless, and I like her on her feet and legs. Emily does a great job getting her shown as well. Let's give her a good round of applause before we start the Shorthorn drive.
Shorthorn Purebred Junior Yearling goes to Etta Moore. Entering the ring for champion Shorthorn Purebred. From the junior calf class, Tanner Rhodes. From the senior calf class, Madeline Jodry. And from the junior yearling class, Etta Moore.
quality shorthorn show we have out here. Young man's first single entry, like we said, for her breed. That's a stout shorthorn female that's bold-ribbed and thick from behind. She's probably moving a little better out here on the chips than she was in her initial single entry class, but one that wants to not necessarily flex that hind leg and maybe drag it forward. I'd like to see her be more comfortable on that rear ankle and lengthen her rump structure ever so slightly. I think that would make a huge difference in the way she get out and goes. But one who, for her breed being that stout and burly, I like those pieces, and I think she definitely gets a second look. Out of her second division, there's an ultra feminine, attractive heifer from the side. She's one that we said maybe has just a nickel more angularity to her and her hind leg than that one right ahead of her, but she still doesn't come close or come close enough to filling her track. She hits me just a nickel more frail. I'd like to see her a little stouter. And then our bred heifer is one that's feminine up front, still has enough muscle from behind. She's big bellied, and I like her feet and legs the best out here. For me, it comes close between our bred and our spring calf out here. One that's stouter, probably needs to move better. One that maybe doesn't have a wow factor in our bred heifer, but one that's just a maternal, kind of a no big holes type of a female. I'm going to go with the no big holes and use our bred heifer for champion. Young man's heifer's reserve. Young lady heifer in the middle is going to be third overall. Congratulations.
Champion purebred shorthorn goes to Etta Moore. Reserve champion Tanner Rhodes. And third overall, Madeline Jodry. Entering the ring is Shorthorn Plus, Spring Calf Class, Addison Moran and Randy Huber. This is the first call for all purebred Scimitars to be making their way to the makeup area. Emery Simpson, Kinley Klein, Brentley Long, Layla Beef, Lainey Spiller, Avery South, Taylor Neal, Ross Dalton, Lainey Spiller, and Layla Beef.
Starting off the Shorthorn Plus show strong, and young lady solid black heifer, white-chested heifer is going to go ahead and win this particular class. She's the one that's just more ladylike. She looks like a heifer a little bit more. I love her length and extension. Her neck comes extremely high out of the top side of her shoulder there. She's more swoopy about her belly. Just gives you more of a maternal look from the side. The biggest thing, I'd like to staff her up her foot bone size, and I don't want to just bone sort everything, but I do think it would help her balance out, proportion out from the profile, maybe give her a little bit more dimension when you step in behind her. But that's a big body heifer that's really feminine up front. I like her a good deal. Nothing to take away from the young lady's painted up heifer out here, because man, she is flashy color. That's a big bone one that's really bold red. She wins the power contest in this initial class as well. For me, she strikes me as a little bit quicker. She's just a little bit shorter cannon, a little bit bigger shoulder. I'd like to give her a little bit more stretch and push down her tail head ever so slightly, and maybe redesign the way she gets out and goes on those rear two. But a powerful heifer nonetheless. Great job to those two young ladies. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Shorthorn Plus Spring Calf goes to Addison Moran.
second, Brandy Huber. Entering the ring is Shorthorn Plus Senior Calf, Etta Moore. This is the second call for all purebred scimitars to be in the makeup area.
Second heifer this young lady's brought me, and she certainly knows how to pick them sound and good structure, because this is a really sound, functional heifer in that regard. Really attractive up front. I like her length and extension about her neck, and one that's really long spined and long in her rump structure as well. She needs to be more opened up and a little bit less two-dimensional. She reads just a nickel flatter body, maybe a little bit plainer and more nondescript in her overall muscle shape. We could clean her up in her navel as well. But a female in regards to feet and leg functionality, she's got it going on. Let's get our hands together for this young lady on a job well done.
Shorthorn Plus Senior Calf goes to Etta Moore. Entering the ring for champion Shorthorn Plus Heifer. From the Spring Calf class, Addison Moran. From the Senior Calf class, Etta Moore. And second place from the Spring Calf class, Brandy Huber.
What does the Brown County OSU Extension Office do? They help develop our youth, protect our water, promote our farms, and build our communities. What can you do to help them accomplish this mission? Vote yes for the Brown County OSU Extension Tax Levy Renewal. Because this levy is a renewal, it will not result in any new taxes and is less than 1% of your property tax. Let's grow the future of Brown County agriculture together. Please vote yes on November 5th to renew the Brown County OSU Extension Tax Levy, paid for by Brown County Extension Support Group.
When you're trying to find the best deal on a home or car, you shop around. When it comes to finding the best deal for insuring those things, it just makes sense to shop around too. That's why Column Insurance works as an independent agency. One agency, multiple carriers, allowing your agent to shop for the company that best fits your needs and budget. Column Insurance works with Nationwide and Nationwide Agribusiness, Travelers, Progressive, and more. Stop by Column Insurance in Georgetown to speak to their friendly agents, Jay, Carolyn, or Stacy, or call 378-6947 for a free quote today.
interesting final drive out here for the Shorthorn Plus show, because I think we have 3 different type of females. The one out of her first class is one that's just the most feminine. She's the biggest body, still sound enough. We can maybe push her shoulder into her body wall just a little bit more to make her more ideal, stout her up in her foot and bone size, but that's the one that looks like a female out here. I like her extra ribbon dimension. For me, the one out of our second class winner for single entry, that's a heifer that's really functional on her feet and legs. She's really squishy footed and has some flex there to her hock. She's feminine up front. She needs more dimension. She needs just a nickel more body. I don't necessarily think she's hard doing, but she certainly needs to be softer middle, but I do think her feet and legs read right on the money. I think that's a sound structured heifer. This little painted up heifer is stout and burly, and obviously the cutest one out here, but I think that kind of works to her detriment. She reads just a nickel quick for me. She's the straightest in her knee and the coarsest in her shoulder. When we ask them to go, she's one that kind of wants to just never really flex that hind leg and get out and go. I think in a market heifer show, this one would put a whooping on them, but projecting them on as a 4, 5, 6-year-old cow, I would question the supplemental maintenance that she would require. I question how if we'd have to maybe cut one out of the side of her. For me, with that being said, I'm going to place them in order 1, 2, and 3 for our Shorthorn class, just in regards to functionality. Young lady up front has her champion. Congratulations.
Champion Shorthorn Plus goes to Addison Moran. Reserve champion goes to Etta Moore, and 3rd overall goes to Brandy Huber. Entering the ring is Simmental 7/8 Spring Calf class, Emery Simpson, Kinley Klein, and Brittany Long.
very interesting top trio out here, and 3 very good females, and I could see them getting jumbled up every which way, because you could justify starting any of those 3 for different reasons. For me, I like to pick the ones that bring the most good together. I'd like to change some things about our class-winning heifer, but for me, she's by far and away the best in her body. When we study them about a 3/4 shot right here, she blows 2 and 3 away in terms of upper rib shape, lower swell to her lower belly, and just having genuine dimension and stoutness, yet still being smooth enough in her shoulder and still having an attractive silhouette from the side. The 1 and 2 and 3 are both stretchier necks, a little bit more ladylike about her head, but that's not an unattractive heifer by any means about her front third, and she actually is stronger top than the one there in 2. I think she's one that has more flank than the one here she's stronger top than the one in 3. She's deeper flank than the one in 2. I went back and forth between these 2 heifers because I love a lot of things about this one here in second. I think her rear ankle is a nickel more flexible than that class winner. I like that about her. Her front third is ultra refined and ultra attractive. Young lady, right here is where I beat you. She needs to be more robust in her rib cage, and at the same time, although she's attractive fronted, she still doesn't lay that shoulder quite as flat and smooth as ideal for me, and I'd like to soften her up in her flank just ever so slightly. Maybe give her 90 days and make me look stupid, because that heifer I think is only going to get better with time, but today and right now, she needs more right there. She needs to be softer flanked. A heifer here in third has some wow factors. For a purebred semi, you don't see them that cool fronted. I think she's one that's really swoopy bellied and has depth to her rib. For me, she's just a piecier heifer. She's one that breaks behind her shoulder. Of my initial trio, she's the flattest bodied female of those 3, and at times she parks that hind leg just a nickel too straight. Although she gets out and covers a big track, she doesn't maybe flex that hop quite ideal enough. I'd like to see her more genuine in her forerib and stronger out of the back of her shoulder. Love her look up front. Young man, you ran into a tough class because this is still high quality livestock. She's thin, she's stout, she has more rib than both of the heifers right in front of you. But for me, she planes up a little bit more from the side, gets a nickel high in her tail head. Big picture, I gotta see her get out and go with a little more functionally on those rear 2. Good set of 4, high quality class. Let's give those kiddos a good round of applause.
Purebred Simmental Spring Calf goes to Kinley Klein. Second, Emery Simpson. Third, Emery Simpson. And 4th, Brinley Long. Entering the ring for Purebred Simmental Junior Calf, Layla.
Our business is helping you grow. We're Baxter Tractor. We take care of you like family.
We've been growing since 1946. As your Kubota dealer, our focus is to help you grow today and into the future. Stop by one of our locations today, visit with our folks, and see our entire lineup of Kubota products.
Our business is helping you grow. Baxter Tractor.
Before the overtime thrillers.
Dribbling ahead off the right side, goes the length of the floor for a layup, upward tide. We're going to overtime.
Before the timely trifectas.
Step back 3 at the buzzer, it's good!
Before basketball comes to the shack, join C103 and Good Guys Radio TV for Basketball 30. Coming soon. Stay tuned.
class that I think lines up a little bit more logically than the last one, but good cattle nonetheless. Young lady wins this class very, very easily in my mind. That's an attractive heifer with a good amount of rib and body and still functional to boot. She's one that maybe just doesn't have just as much maternal depth as some of the other class winners, but that's being critical. That's an awfully big-bodied heifer that can still get out on the move. She's maybe not quite as fancy about her front third as some, but still a heifer that's proportional, big body, functional type of a cattle, really good heifer nonetheless. The lady here in second with the red heifer has a big-bodied one that's just really broody from the side. I think she reads with as much forerib as any of them in the Simmentals we've seen so far, really swoopy belly. She wants to catch that rear ankle and kind of duck her pins to compensate for that from time to time. I'd like to see her just more attractively level out of her hip. I'd like to see her more consistently flex that rear ankle into the surface just a little bit more comfortably. In the same breath, she's got a little bit more leather up front than our class winner. You can maybe fancy her up there, but still a proportional heifer. I think that one's going to be an awesome root cow. One here in third, stout and powerful, stepping behind her. That's the big pin female that's ultra big-footed as well. To me, she comes in too many parts and pieces. She's crispier neck and more out in her shoulder. From behind her shoulder, she wants to flatten there to the base of her forehead. She parks that hind leg just a nickel too straight for me, and that's why I'd like to change her and readjust her in the way she gets out on the go. Heifer that rounds out the class is ultra feminine and refined, and letting you do a good job getting her stuck and making her look like $1 million on the side. But for me, she just closes up too much in her skeleton. She needs more overall dimension and rib to move up any higher in this particular class. Great job to those kiddos. All four of them deserve a good round of applause.
Your percent Simmental junior calf goes to Taylor Neal. Second, Lainey Spiller. Third, Avery South. And fourth, Layla B. Entering the ring is purebred Simmental senior calf, Ross Dalton.
Tadlock Trailer Sales has been selling and servicing trailers for over 35 years. They offer a variety of new and used trailers, plus Dixie chopper, Simplicity, and Bad Boy lawnmowers. They also sell trailer and mower parts and accessories. Check out their large selection of trailers and mowers on display at 5645 Sterile 125 in West Union. They'll gladly answer all your questions. Looking to rent a trailer? Call and see what's available at 937-544-2851. Tadlock Trailer Sales, family owned and operated.
Let's give this young man a nice round of applause.
Purebred Simmental senior calf goes to Ross Dalton. Entering the ring is your summer yearling, Lainey Spiller.
From this one's nose to her tail, she's powerful and stout, big and opened up and dense and burly. She's got a ton of stifle shape laid into her. With that being said, she's a little bit more terminally driven for me. I'd like to see her a little bit longer in her muscle pattern, a little bit more refined about her front third, and get out and go, which is more flex and comfort when we ask her to move. But still a heifer whose power and dimension is certainly something to be proud of. Let's give that young lady a nice round of applause.
Summer yearling goes to Lainey Spiller. Entering the ring is junior yearling Layla Beef. At this time, we need all first and second place purebred scimitars to be in the makeup area.
Cool looking red heifer coming out next. She's really stretchy necked and long sided type of a female. She has some genuine power up high when you step in behind her as well. When we ask her to go, she fills her track, and we like all those things about her. One that probably just needs a little bit more softness to her center to maybe just have that wow factor from the side. One that maybe can be dialed back just ever so slightly and angled to her shoulder as well. But it certainly doesn't hinder her ability to get out and go and take a long, comfortable step. Good heifer out here. Let's congratulate that young lady on the job well done.
Junior yearling goes to Layla Beef. Entering the ring for purebred scimitar champion heifer. From the spring calf class, Kinley Klein. From the junior calf class, Taylor Neal. From the senior calf class, Ross Dalton. From the summer yearling class, Lainey Spiller. And from the junior yearling class, Layla Beef. We need second place Emery Simpson and Lainey Spiller to be in the makeup area.